You're making a run at it, aren't you? Rolling up a stake and going to Vegas.
The #1 poker internet show is now on the radio. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to talk poker news, entertainment, and have lots of Sin City surprises. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Or toll free. 1-866-820-5528. That's 1-866-820-KLAV. Now, let's bring on the hosts. Going all in. Here is Mark Hoke.
I'm very excited because today is Stevie Nicks' Tom Petty Day here on the Mark Hoke Show. Thanks to my raspy voice. I'd really like to thank Las Vegas for giving me some sort of bug. I love you guys, but can we not do that again?
Oh, no.
Nate,
luck with
The
that.
poker chips are the worst.
I didn't touch any poker chips. That's the worst part. I don't know. It's just kind of a natural thing. I mean, can you guys not give me the super bugs anymore?
Las Vegas is the nucleus of all germs.
It could be. Yeah, I was thinking about how many people travel in here.
They all come from everywhere.
Yeah, nobody really lives here per se.
I thought it was the opposite because nothing can survive here. So even if the germs all come, they should all die out.
Don't mess with me, Ben. Don't do it. Well, thanks for joining us here on the Mark Hoke Show. We do appreciate you coming along for the ride today, no matter how bad I sound. But, of course, the Mark Hoke Show is powered by BlueRail.net and brought to you by PokerAtlas.com. Get all the info you need on tournaments across North America, plus poker room reviews and much more at PokerAtlas.com. Also brought to you by Blind Squirrel Apparel, Team Poker Joker, Arctic Blue Cooling Towels, Double Digit Covers, and RogueWire.com. Great lineup of guests in the studio as usual today. We welcome Nate Dowland back into the studios. How are you, Nate?
Fantastic. Good afternoon, Mark.
Thank you. You're just laughing. You're loving this, aren't you?
Oh, you're just struggling so much.
Nate bailed me out on Sunday on the Rogue Wire show because, oh my God, if you think this is bad, you should have heard me on Sunday. It was horrible. So
You got through it great.
well, thanks,
Fantastic.
Nate. I appreciate that. We have Lauren Billings back in the studio. Good to see you.
Thank you. Fun to hear.
We can't not say her Twitter handle. But
No,
we can
we're
spell
gonna,
it.
We're
We
gonna
can spell it.
Yes. Well, maybe we did beat that horse the last time pretty badly.
Yeah. I'll have to get a new one that's risque that I can't say.
I think it's pretty good. Let's just stick with it. You're good.
Yeah.
The professor is here. Ben Yu, one of the great up-and-coming players, of course, a top online player in the world, too, and very happy to have the professor stopping in. How are you, Ben?
It's good to be here. I'm glad you caught me at a time. I'm only in Vegas for a week. I'm in between coming back from the Bahamas for PCA and going off to Europe for the European Poker Tour. So I'm really glad you found the window to have me on here.
I am darn thrilled about it, too. How was PCA, by the way?
It was pretty good. It was my first time there. It was a lot of fun. I final tabled the $2,000 open face Chinese event, which is an event I have very limited experience in, especially when you consider the people who were at that final table, Sean Deeb, Jason Mercier, who just love playing that game, so crank out infinite hours of that game. So it was just really fun to have that experience, and I definitely recommend anyone who has not gone to the Bahamas in January to do that once. If you're a poker player, it's a great experience.
Well, congratulations on a final table there with the OFC. Open face Chinese with Jason Mercier in any situation just sounds scary as hell.
Also, Sean Deeb and
Sean's scarier than Jason. Oops.
Yeah, true.
and Paul Volpe. They're just all really great players. It was a very stacked field in general, but the final table was, the end bosses of the game.
Very good. Well, nice run, and we'll, of course, be following you as you go around the rest of this world. You've got a lot of travel plans. But we're going to stay in the United States here for some news here on the read.
Scanning the poker tables from around the world. This is The Read, brought to you by PokerNews.com.
I caught my buddy Alan off guard. I'm really sorry.
Gonna give you some more germs.
Oh, God. No. Back.
I'm gonna look at your partner over here and say, give him some germs.
No. Now, if we're talking Lauren, that's not quite
You
so
don't
bad.
want the germs I've got.
I don't know. She's got some Sin City stuff out there. Looking pretty hot there, too.
I'll tell you.
Representing.
Of course, the read brought to you by PokerNews.com. And some great news for people and that had money on Full Tilt. The DOJ finally approved releasing some money. Yay! How about that?
I'll clap later.
When the check doesn't
Ben's over
bounce.
here like, yeah, thanks a lot. $82 million of money. The Full Tilt Poker Funds released to 30,000 players. So a little bit of the money finally getting back out to everybody. That only took 2 years. You let PokerStars handle it. It took a week and a half, and give the federal government handle it. 2 years. That works. But Nate, good news.
Somewhat. But it's surprising how much money that's still stuck because people didn't even fill out the paperwork.
No, they didn't. And I think there was a lot of, I know a lot of players, and maybe you guys can back me up on this, that said that they, because of tax reasons, it just wasn't worth going through all the effort to try and pull that money up. And did you get a lot of that reaction?
I did joke around with one of my friends who only played recreationally, and I asked, he said he had $20 or something there, and he said he did fill out the paperwork, but I joked with him, whether he would have done it for $1 or 10 cents. I do think that what they said was that they only released the funds of everyone who did not have a discrepancy with the figure that they provided. So it kind of, I've worked on Capitol Hill. I understand how slow the bureaucracy is. So essentially they're saying they haven't done anything since we submitted these forms because, the bulk of the work is checking the discrepancies. And I have one of those discrepancies.
Oh, no.
So it is not okay that they have not approved me.
That's the biggest problem, I think, where people are like, oh, well, how am I going to prove this? Like, I was transferring it to my account. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, so good luck, everybody.
Yes, my discrepancy is the morning of Black Friday, I saw the sky was falling, and I made the large mistake of trying to cash out a check, somehow hoping that it would get through. It just seems so ridiculous in retrospect.
Ben, have you used your one time yet? Seems like a good time to use it.
My rule for one times is actually to not use it ever on anything you have some control over. So this is I never use it for poker or women because you have some control in that.
Yeah.
So this does seem like something I have absolutely no control over.
Well, good luck on getting your money back, my friend. WPT Borgata main event is going on right now. Lazaro Hernandez is leading the way into day 3. We got Matt Haugen up there. Chris Reslock, who, if you play out there at the Borgata, you know that name. He's won a few championship events out there. He is sitting in 3rd place at the moment. Chad Brown.
Downtown Chad Brown.
Chad Brown Pro.
There's a name I haven't heard for a while. Is in 4th. We got John DiAgostino, one of the East Coast legends out there, sitting in 5th place. Also hanging around up there, Tyler Patterson, who, if he shows off those Super Bowl tickets on Facebook one more time, we're going to have words. Faraz Jock out there doing well. Dan Highmiller as well. So let's see, we got Jared Jaffe.
Dan.
Yeah, it's always a fun name there.
The birthday shout out to Matt Berkey, who I think is still in it.
Oh, yeah. Dan O'Brien's still hanging around in there too, among many others. So they just bubbled that up a little while ago, so we'll see who comes out on top of the Borgata. But somebody that did not come out on top at the Borgata, that would be Christian Lusardi.
But he was a chip leader after day 1.
He
How could
was.
he not win that thing? Come on. That's such a lock.
He had more in his hotel room than he had at the table.
We touched on this story last week, and we now have an arrest for the counterfeit chips that were placed into play at the Borgata Winter Poker Open. And this is an unbelievable story. The stupidity behind this, I just don't know what was going on. But on Friday of last week, the New Jersey State Police and the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement announced they had found $2.7 million in counterfeit chips from the Borgata in a clogged sewer pipe at the Harrah's Resort and Casino last weekend. So apparently this gentleman decided he had a few extras sitting around besides the $1 million they managed to get into play, and flushed them down the toilet.
Flushed drugs, not poker chips. Where did this guy grow up?
There's a bridge
couple
between
movies.
Harrah's and the Borgata where he could have just thrown them all over the
Yeah, it's
bridge.
Atlantic City. There's lots of places to dump stuff. I'll tell you that.
And if you haven't been to Atlantic City, Nate is exactly right. You go out, literally, you go out of the Harrah's driveway, you curl around, and get on the road that goes over to Brigantine, and it goes right over the Brigantine Bridge. It's a 3-minute drive. All he had to do was take the sack, go up to the bridge, drop it off real quick, and he was done. Or, maybe a walk to the beach. There's an ocean there.
But instead, flush it down the toilet that your name's on the room.
That's why it just seems suspicious to me. It seems like he could be getting set up or something. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about this guy. But
He's been arrested before for illegal gambling. His mom was even there.
Oh.
She got arrested with him.
I mean, it's just obviously if somebody that's trying to integrate that many trips into a tournament isn't that bright, so can't really expect much. But
I'm looking for more arrests, actually, because somebody had to make those chips.
I want to find out who made those chips. That's interesting.
Somebody made those chips, and they made them in the exact likeness of it was just a shade off of the gray. That's all it was.
Yeah, Ben, what were your thoughts on this whole thing?
The first thing I want to say about this, and I never thought I would do this, but I'm going to applaud casino management and gaming enforcement for somehow getting it right. And granted, I will concede that they had a really dumb crook to catch who helped them out a lot, but they got it right. The system apparently worked. I do think we'll talk about a lot of the flaws in the system and what we could do to improve them during the show. But ultimately, the system that they have set up in place got it right. And granted, there's nothing you can do to fix some of the fallout, but this is what the best they could have done. This is the best situation we probably could have hoped for.
Absolutely. And by the way, we have Katie Stone from the Grindettes online for our Grindettes segment. And Katie, since Mr. Lasardi got busted, what are your thoughts and what's everyone been saying out of Borgata?
We don't really know anything more than you guys do. People are still talking about it a lot, and the dealers talk about it, and the staff talks about it, but nobody's really giving us any answers. There's been rumors about refunds, for that first event for anybody who didn't cash, but we're still, we have no new information. They haven't really come to us and said anything.
Is there, in your opinion, any way that we can get around this? We're going to start talking about this, about some of these bad sides of the game online and live on what people are doing in terms of cheating in poker, which is unfortunate. But what has been the reaction to everybody to say, what can we do to stop this from happening again?
I haven't heard that many people talking about what can be done. I didn't see anything really different that they were doing, after that it happened. But I think that I think that it kind of raises some really important security issues, because when you think about it, poker room security, as far as, chip security, is nowhere near, what it is, like, let's say, out on, the craps table, out on the casino floor. And when you're playing craps or you're playing roulette, you're playing against the house. So they have a kind of like a bigger interest in chip security. When you're in the poker room, you're not playing against the house, you're playing against other people. And, you've heard stories for years about, people not putting their chips across the betting line in a cash game and then getting up and leaving the table with their chips and not paying the person off. And really, there's nothing that the casino will do about that except ban them from the property. They're not, obligated to refund the other player the money that was stolen. And that's just an example of, of an area that might need to change. They may need to look at putting a little bit more security in the poker room, even though they're not going to profit anymore from it. But it's a big enough problem now that I'm surprised that something like this hasn't happened before,
Probably has.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably has. I mean, there's.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. But I'm, on this scale of finding, in an event like this, it's such a big event, $2 million guarantee, kind of not Borgata's flagship event, but it's the first event of the WPT. They just, got awarded the WPT championship. It's a big year for them. It's a big year for that staff and for Tab and that crew. And so it's very unfortunate, but at the same time, I think it brings to light some important issues that need to be talked about.
Very much agreed. Well, Katie, what else do you guys have going on for the Grindettes real quick before we let you go? I want to make sure if you guys have any big plans.
I just finished my last event for this series. I guess there's a Parks Big Stack series that starts on the 20th, so we'll be doing that, and just been grinding online. Jamie is here, also in New Jersey, doing the same thing, playing live and online. Jennifer is doing her TED Talk on Friday in Baltimore. Super excited about that. It's kind of like one of the biggest things of her life. And Katie Dozier is grinding her 40 tables away online in Mexico. So we're all working hard. That's definitely the truth. So
sounds great. Well, Katie, thanks for calling in. We do appreciate it. Always good to talk to the Grindettes, and wish you a great afternoon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
You got it. Make sure you follow the Grindettes at Grindettes on Twitter. the Grindettes on Facebook and grindettes.com. Lauren, let me ask you about what Katie brought up about security in the poker room. Is that, do you feel that some changes need to be made at this point?
Yes, I do. I mean, at the Rio, I would not play the Rio cash games. It scares me. They don't have any responsibility. I don't even know that chip runners work there when they take your money, and they don't really care. So, as far as like playing in larger games, when I have bills on the table, I tend to take them because bills are. I just feel like the casino does. If they're willing to protect chips, the bills are like, well, bills are your responsibility, which I don't know why that makes a difference. Mm-hmm. But if I have like a large, like a 5K chip or something, I'll take it. If I'm going to be gone for an extended period of time, I just don't trust people. When there's money at stake, people do really bad things. So poker, there should be more security. I don't know. A lot of properties won't care because they're not willing to spend the money, but they should. I don't think it's right. I mean, the rake, especially in certain places where you're paying a lot, like California rooms and stuff. But I don't know. I play at Wynn. It's pretty nice, pretty secure. I feel good about playing there.
There you go. Have you seen any crazy stuff where people have been trying to cheat at the table that you just are like, oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, every now and then I notice some pretty obvious collusion between players, and there's times where I'll tell floor people, like at Planet Hollywood, it's happened a few times, and they just don't care. Or they are, well, we don't really know how to prove it. We don't know how to prove it. We're not sure that they're doing that. And I'm like, well, I can tell you what kind of signs are happening. And it's hard to crack down. It's hard to bring that up because it's easy to kind of scarlet letter people in that way that's not appropriate. Like I've been accused of colluding with my boyfriend when I never like to play with him in the same game. And so, it could seem like in a spot where I squeeze with ace king and he happened to have kings, like it looks bad, but it's just because like he plays a little passive, knowing that aggressive players are behind him. I happen to be one of those aggressive players. Yes, we also live together. That can look like we're colluding, but we're definitely not, especially when I lose, $1,500 in this spot.
Yeah, that's
not collusion. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I think that it's a hard. I don't really know how to fix it. I don't really have any ideas because it's a slippery slope of starting pointing fingers at people and being wrong. I think at the expense of being wrong is bad. Calling people cheaters.
Well, what are some of the, you talked about seeing some obvious signs of collusion. If someone's at a table and thinks something's wrong, what are some of the signs that you should be looking for?
Well, if like two people are texting and it's so obvious they're texting each other and like smiling and laughing and making eye contact, like it's like, all right, you're friends, you're goofing around, you're playing together, that's fine. You can like make fun of everybody at the table and joke around, but there will be a time where certain players in that game will notice and they'll feel uncomfortable and they'll leave. You may not be talking about poker at all. You might be talking about your girlfriend or like whatever, your dog. They don't know that, and I've seen it happen in Reno where players would leave games, like good players for games. And, I think keeping your focus on not having it appear like you're cheating, even if, you never have. I've had people approach me that I just met like 2 years ago to collude with them in the sit and goes at the Rio. And I was like, if you need to collude to beat the people in those games, then you have real problems. And I don't want anything to do with you. Don't talk to me ever again. Like, you just met me. Like, you're really stupid. Like, you're really stupid because, like, you just told me you're cheating. And I told the staff at the Rio, and they're also pretty much like, oh, well, what are we supposed to do about that? We're taking vig on everybody that sits down. We don't care who wins or loses those seats. They don't care. Wow. They have no personal interest because they're getting the bottom line. And unless they have some responsibility where they actually want to run a place where they can feel confident that people will be happy, I think the way that cash games are run and the sit and goes are run during the summer are a bad example of how, like, they really highlight a lot of things that can be wrong. Certain rulings that have been made for cash game players. You want people to come back and you want people to feel like it's fair. And I think that sometimes you see floor people that rule in favor of regulars sometimes because they're regulars and that's home team advantage, I guess. But
it's always a tricky topic, and we're going to deal with it more when we come back, and we'll talk to Ben a little bit more about some of the things that may happen online as well that you've got to watch out for. So we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're having a great time, and we'll see you on the other side.
PokerAtlas.com has its finger on the pulse of all poker events in Las Vegas and beyond. Both on and offline. PokerAtlas.com is made by poker players for poker players and covers North America for every tournament, every day. Join the action by reading and posting your own reviews on PokerAtlas.com. Let everyone know what you really think about poker rooms you visited. PokerAtlas.com also features special offers and online sign-up bonuses for its members as well. Don't forget to like Poker Atlas on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Poker Atlas. PokerAtlas.com also has Twitter accounts for up-to-the-minute information about tournaments in your area. The action starts here at PokerAtlas.com.
The heat is on. Whether you're in the hot seat of a major poker tournament or just dealing with everyday life, stay cool with a brand new Arctic Blue cooling towel. Just wet your reusable and durable Arctic Blue cooling towel in cold water and you'll have instant cooling relief at your fingertips for up to 5 hours. The towel is lightweight and pliable, so you can keep it handy no matter where you are. Plus, it's absorbent enough to make sure you and your clothes stay dry while you stay cool. No need to sweat it out, no matter what you're doing, when you have an Arctic Blue cooling towel handy. So get the same cooling towel used by professional athletes, poker players, first responders, physical therapists, U.S. automakers, and even reality TV stars. So what are you waiting for? Visit them today at arcticblu.com and pick yours up today. Plus, enter the discount code MarkHokeShow when you check out and get 15% off plus free shipping to keep some of your cold hard cash in your wallet. It's like the Arctic Blue Bear says, it's not cool to be hot. So pick up your Arctic Blue cooling towel today.
It's time for you to check out RogueWire.com. News, sports, entertainment, and the internet home of The Mark Hoke Show. Don't wait. Let the sparks fly from your computer at RogueWire.com. And of course, RogueWire.com is powered by BlueRail.net. For over 2 years, The Mark Hoke Show has trusted BlueRail.net as their exclusive host, and you can too. Visit BlueRail.net for top-level web hosting, website building and maintenance, one-on-one customer service, and much more. It's time to get on board with your winning combination. BlueRail.net and RogueWire.com. How far do you want to go? Sports bettors, tired of getting beat every week at your sportsbook? It's time to stop guessing and start winning. We all know cash is king, and it's time to let the team at Double Digit Covers come to the rescue to help you get the positive cash flow you need to live the life you've always dreamed about. Tony Dos and his all-star sports handicapping team will be in your corner to help you beat the point spread, bring excitement and winning to your betting experience, and build your bankroll to levels you never thought possible. Get free winning sports information at doubledigitcovers.com and call now for today's free winner at 1-855-489-3500. That's 1-855-489-3500. Stop guessing and start winning today at doubledigitcovers.com.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Then follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show and like our Facebook page at The Mark Hoke Show for show news and outstanding poker content from around the world. Plus, enjoy the show anytime by subscribing to our podcasts on iTunes or at markhokeshow.podbean.com. We're even on your mobile phone at markhokeshow.podbean.com/mobile. Thanks for listening and being a part of The Mark Hoke Show.
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit blindsquirrelapparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Masura stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel apparel.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we are back here on the Mark Hoke Show here on KLAV 1230 AM, the talk of Las Vegas. I'm doing my best talking today. Hanging in there.
You're hanging, dude. You're hanging.
I'm hanging.
Sound better than 4 days ago.
That is very true.
You sound better than Scarlett Johansson and Her.
Wow. I feel so much better now. Ouch. Nate Dallin, Ben Yu, and Lauren Billings joining us. And Ben, let's get your thoughts on this subject a little bit. Of course, backing up and talking a little bit about the Borgata and the situation that happened out there with all those chips getting into play. Is there anything that you see that needs to be done to prevent something like this from ever happening again? Now, I just interviewed Mike Sexton, who had told me on Sunday he's never seen anything on this grand a scale ever happen. What needs to be done?
I will get to that, but I do want to say that this should be a large wake-up call to casino management and tournament directors everywhere. Katie and Lauren are very much right. For a long time, those personnel have been under the delusion that it's okay that their interests are not aligned with the players, that they simply need to collect the rake and make their 10%, and at the end of the day, but this incident should show that, in this current atmosphere where there's so many tournaments and you're just fighting to get the players and be the premier tournament series in whatever state or country you're in, people are going to be turned off by this. I know the Borgata has a reputation for doing a great job with this, but, as we go forward, it's about who's going to respond to this that will continue to do well. Players are going to be turned off if situations like this continue to pop up and be a problem, and places do not take action about it.
Yeah, there has to be something done at this point because, I've heard so many stories about how, the chips are constantly recycled and it's the same ones over and over. You're going to have to change the chips up. You're going to have to do some more secure things on the casino floor to keep an eye on guys like this. I mean, if it was only one person, which I really have a hard time believing one person could possibly get 200 chips into play, that means, probably there were like 5 or 6 or even 10 people that were rolling chips out of their sleeve. So what do we have to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
So to consider this problem, I thought of it like a poker player. I put myself in their shoes. I asked my poker sounding board, my confidant, Scott Abrams, who's most well known for finishing 12th in the main event last year. What if we were a smarter crook? We realized this guy was really dumb, but what would a poker mastermind crook do in this spot? And a couple of things I think we considered is that the best thing to do would be to wait for. First of all, you want to put chips onto the tournament that there's going to be a lot of them, so that it'll be easy to squeeze in. If, for instance, if we take the World Series of Poker main event, you start with a couple 10K chips. So if you sneak one on, people are going to be able to tell immediately. So I do think that tournament directors need to be more vigilant when there's a lot of chips in play. It's going to be harder for them to do inventory and count them, but they're just going to have to do it. Another thing I think that's very wary is that if I were to sneak chips on, I would want to do it right after a color up because there's not going to be any more color ups. There's not going to be any more counting. We're going to have the longest time between when you inventory those chips again because the next color up won't be a long time. So it's possible that they need to spend that juncture, even though it may not make sense to do a count and find a way to figure that out.
This would be very high tech and probably very expensive, but I would, of course, love it because, and I'm sure all the online players would like it too. If there was a way that we could have like RFID chips in the chips so that we could see everyone's stack. So you don't have to keep asking people for counts because in tournaments it's very annoying. But every decision really is stack dependent. And online, you can just look around the table real quick and see what everyone has. In tournaments, like, my eyesight is getting worse. So depending on where I'm sitting, like, I have trouble actually, like, especially like in Venetian deep stack tournaments, some of the chips are pale. It's hard to tell, but that would be a way that they could always monitor. You wouldn't be able to sneak a chip on. Like, you wouldn't.
Is the possibility of going to an all electronic table a way to get around this?
I think this is a great point. 2 or 3 years ago when people were talking about this technology coming out, we were like, oh, that's cool, but, it's probably not feasible. People like playing with their chips and cards. Do you really like playing with those fake chips now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't like the idea of the electronic table. I think it's neat, and I think it has its place, but I think for large-scale tournaments, it is weird because, part of the nuance of poker is having people handle their chips, and I purposely try to get people to handle their chips and make mistakes and get reads on them, and taking that out of the game would be a disadvantage for me. So I still
who's
think
confidently playing with their chips is a better player than somebody who doesn't know how to handle
yeah,
it.
and I won't give away some of my tricks, but basically,
Oh, come on.
That's, but knowing that, like, even if the dealers were to know, say, like, color ups, people had to stand on the rail. When people come back, they know the amount of chips on that table. Of course, when people get moved into the table, it changes the amount. But if every night they were to count the bags and look at the amounts on the bags and see that the correct amount is in play still, obviously, you play for 12 hours in a tournament, there's a lot of time where there could be error, but at least then they know that, okay, well, this happened in this period of time. It does make it difficult, but I imagine that people are going to avoid trying this scam now because of what's happened.
Yeah,
Except Ben seems to we're thinking a lot about it, and it seems like he's got some plans with Scott to maybe finish better than 12th this year in the main event.
Yeah, it's a very tricky topic, and I think that the World Series, is going to have to deal with this year, even if they don't want to, because we all know that they have a massive chip inventory of chips that they've reused.
But if you go to eBay right now,
exactly.
you can buy a WSOP tournament chip from somebody that found one on the floor last year, or however they got it.
And somebody made those chips. Somebody had to have made those chips for these guys to get them into play. So there's and that person, whoever did it, I don't think this guy was the one that managed to pull this off. So somebody's out there that can counterfeit chips. So if I'm running any major tournament series at this point, I am really taking a minute to think about what I'm going to do here.
Confidentiality in your chips. That way you got to remake them. You've got to do everything you can to make sure that it's proper. Because somebody could have been planning for a year to do the same thing at the World Series.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Ben, of course, with your expertise online, I'm sure you've seen some tricks online there too. And because we are starting to see some online coming back, what are some of the things that you would recommend to people to keep an eye on in terms of any cheating online in case they have to turn somebody in or worried about it?
I'd like to begin this segment by quoting one of the Grindettes, Jamie Kerstetter. One of her favorite things to tweet about after this incident was that she said, "I knew live poker was rigged. I'm going back to online." So I think a good way to answer this is to look at how we've caught cheaters in the past. If we look at the Absolute Poker scandal and the Ultimate Bet, all those scandals, there was a lot of math involved. I hate to say this because it may not be. It's very hard for a person who doesn't have a large database to look at or isn't very fluent in the poker database math to look at these kind of things. But a lot of that was uncovered just by seeing a player with a win rate who played a certain way, and there was just no way when you play that way you can win that much money. It essentially just takes a lot of vigilance in the community, and it's really unfortunate that it's oftentimes confused with just your average person complaining that this is rigged because he happened to be a losing player who's complaining. I do think it's important to, look at databases, have math to ground your suspicions. If you do think you're being cheated, you should probably stop playing. I mean, it's just not a good idea. You should also just stick to playing on sites that are well known for either catching cheaters or, having a very tight security. PokerStars has done a pretty good job about this. They've had some blips in the past, but generally have been very good about this.
Yeah, and and I would always tell everybody that if you do suspect something, live, step away and go talk to the floor. Don't do it at the table.
I thought it was stop, drop, and roll.
Well, that too.
Okay.
If you're lit on fire, that's usually not a good thing either. But and always, if you're in your chat moderators, let them know. Drop an email in real quick, because if you don't say anything, we can't clean that kind of stuff up. Because none of us want this to happen again. It's one of those things with the public image of poker. Every time things start going well and everybody's happy, then something like this happens, and then the mainstream press just goes crazy with it. It's everywhere, and we're back in that same bad spot again. And we don't want to have that image continue, right?
Exactly. It's as you said before, Sheldon Adelson.
Yep, he's behind it. He's behind it. He wants us to look like dirtbags. So
yeah.
We can't get online.
Shame on him.
We're terrible people, obviously.
Well, speaking of terrible people, it's time for the Arctic Blue Keep Your Cool Game of the Day.
It's time for the Arctic Blue Keep Your Cool Game of the Day.
Speaking of cheaters, we're going to highlight some of the great ones of all time here in our Arctic Blue Keep Your Cool Game of the Day, brought to you by Arctic Blue Cooling Towels. Make sure you go to arcticblu.com. Put in the code Mark Hoke Show. You're going to get 15% off plus free shipping. They have a new pink one, by the way, Lauren. Not that you really care, but
I'm wearing neon yellow.
Yeah.
Not a pink.
It'll match, though. So.
Yeah, it could match.
All right.
I wear pink ironically sometimes.
Okay. Works for me. So we're gonna ask you guys questions about legendary cheaters. So we'll take turns, and whoever gets the most questions right wins the game. Nate, are you ready? You get first question.
Oh, boy.
And if Nate's wrong, Ben, you get a chance to steal. We'll keep going around here.
Is it just in poker or
No, this is just legendary cheaters, period. There are some poker ones, though. All right. This pro athlete couldn't keep his driver in check and had multiple affairs exposed on a Thanksgiving day in 2009.
Daly? John Daly?
No.
Oh,
Ben
Multiple what?
had his multiple affairs exposed on a Thanksgiving day in 2009.
Tiger Woods?
Tiger Woods is correct.
I was
Ben
going
on-
back 10 years before that. My bad.
I didn't remember John Daly cheating on his wife. I suppose, who knows? All right, Ben, you get this one, so you got a chance to double up here.
Double points?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, I'm going to give this one to you. Other than the Ultimate Bet Boys, Josh Fields may be the most infamous online poker cheat in history for his underage play and multi-accounting on PokerStars, Party Poker, and Cake Poker. What was his username?
Prodigy AA?
Incorrect. Lauren, you got this one? He was awfully close.
Hold on. I know. He was on my main event day 2 table. Jay Prodigy.
JJ Prodigy is correct. Very good.
I had dinner with someone with a similar screen name this weekend. I blame him.
Very, very close, though. All right. Lauren.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I would kick myself.
Michael Larson figured out the light pattern on this game show, ripping them off for over $110,000.
I mean, this is not my final answer, but I really want to say press your luck just because no whammy is the best. But I'm going to go with, unless that seems like the answer based on your face, press your luck.
Press your luck's correct.
Yes, no whammy. I got to read on you.
Good read.
Nate, this was the ultimate the way that a guy got cheated out of money by getting shot. Who was the Wild West legend that was shot with the legendary dead man's hand?
Wild Bill Hickok.
Correct. Wow, you guys are getting these right. It's kind of scary. This doesn't happen very
I
often.
should have listened
players.
better on the first one, or I would have got that one right too. I heard the year wrong.
Yeah, it's
Or
all right.
helping others get it right.
Yeah. Ben, cigar chomping and a stained dress nearly got this cheater thrown out of his really nice house in 1998.
I have no clue.
No?
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton is correct. You did. You just forgot. It's all right. Lauren,
Yeah.
you're in a roll.
Jinx me.
Yeah, I did. Joe Greco hosted this show, was stabbed on camera while chasing down a husband accused of infidelity.
Oh, shoot. I know what it is, but it's just called Cheaters?
Yes.
Yes. Wow.
It's sad. I know that.
Look at this. You guys are rolling it. All right. Last time around, what we got? What do we have on that score, big guy?
Lauren's up, man. She's rolling 4 to 1 to 1, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, she's kicking it.
It's pretty much a wrap here.
Free roll.
Nate, this Las Vegas legend went all McGriff, the crime dog, on his opponent's ear in a championship fight in 1997.
Mike Tyson.
Correct. You guys know cheaters. You know, we'll get all these other subjects on here, but cheaters, everybody knows.
I was really
the answer.
excited to not know the answers and just keep answering Howard Lederer. But I didn't have that opportunity yet.
I once saw Mike at a liquor store, and it was a hilarious story that's too long for this segment.
That's too bad. We'll get another hour here, I promise. Okay, Ben, chance to redeem yourself. This movie character got the holy hell beat out of him and his friend by a group of cops after he got too greedy and tried to cheat the game.
You want the movie?
I want the character name. You know the movie. I'm sure you know what movie it is.
I have absolutely no idea what his name is.
Worm.
Lester Worm Murphy, played by Ed Norton in the movie Rounders.
There's a regular at the Wynn that is a live Knish. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh, God.
It's unbelievable. Real life.
All right, Lauren. Last question.
Okay.
You've got this already wrapped up, so I'm going to make this really tough on you. Rosie Ruiz cut her route just a tad short, showing up a mile before the end of this legendary race to claim a fraudulent victory in 1980.
New York City Marathon.
Ooh, really close, but no.
No, Boston.
Nate.
I'm going to steal it from her. Boston.
Yeah.
Boston Marathon is correct.
See, we don't do that kind of stuff in New York. It's a Boston thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, Alan, what do we have? It was a big win there, wasn't
Oh,
it?
yeah. Just Lauren left him in a ditch right there. Five, Nate with 3, Ben with 1, man. There you go.
Oh, poor Ben.
How does
Well,
the professor get the worst scores?
I know. That's unbelievable. I thought this was a wrap for him. Well, hey, on the line, do we have a caller on the line now?
He rang 3 times, and then as soon as I picked it up trying to hit the buzzer, they hung up. So I don't know who it was.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully we'll be
Probably
having,
Howard Lederer.
Well, hopefully we'll have John Freeberg calling in for his Table Talk segment real quick. So as soon as he gets on there, we'll give him a call. Let's tell you what, let's take a commercial break. We'll come back and we can get John on as soon as we're ready to go. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Sports bettors, tired of getting beat every week at your sportsbook? It's time to stop guessing and start winning. We all know cash is king, and it's time to let the team at Double Digit Covers come to the rescue to help you get the positive cash flow you need to live the life you've always dreamed about. Tony Dos and his all-star sports handicapping team will be in your corner to help you beat the point spread, bring excitement and winning to your betting experience, and build your bankroll to levels you never thought possible. Get free winning sports information at doubledigitcovers.com and call now for today's free winner at 1-855-489-3500. That's 1-855-489-3500. Stop guessing and start winning today at doubledigitcovers.com.
At Team Poker Joker, we build innovative, high-performance, poker-focused apparel designed to keep you cool and calm in tough situations. Wait, no we don't. We've just got a cool brand representing the suits of this beautiful game called poker. Our gear won't make you better, but it will keep a smile on your face. So don't be so serious and show you know how to have fun. Get your Poker Joker gear today at TeamPokerJoker.com. Grin and win today at TeamPokerJoker.com.
It's time for you to check out RogueWire.com. News, sports, entertainment, and the internet home of The Mark Hoke Show. Don't wait. Let the sparks fly from your computer at RogueWire.com. And of course, RogueWire.com is powered by BlueRail.net. For over 2 years, The Mark Hoke Show has trusted BlueRail.net as their exclusive host, and you can too. Visit BlueRail.net for top-level web hosting, website building and maintenance, one-on-one customer service, and much more. It's time to get on board with your winning combination. BlueRail.net and RogueWire.com. How far do you want to go?
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Then follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show and like our Facebook page at The Mark Hoke Show for show news and outstanding poker content from around the world. Plus, enjoy the show anytime by subscribing to our podcasts on iTunes or at markhokeshow.podbean.com. We're even on your mobile phone at markhokeshow.podbean.com/mobile. Thanks for listening and being a part of The Mark Hoke Show.
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit BlindSquirrelApparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel Apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Masura stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel Apparel.
The best in poker news, entertainment, and more. This is the Mark Hoke Show.
Dump button called on Lauren.
I was
earlier in
doing
the show.
so well.
Did not break the record on the show so far. Easily held by Mike Manasow.
Really?
Yeah.
How many times did he get dumped?
Oh, I don't even remember.
He opened his mouth.
Yeah, pretty much that did it. Well, welcome back to the Mark Hoke Show. We've got Lauren Billings, Ben Yu, and Nate Dowling hanging out here. And, I think it's interesting that we started talking about the public image of poker, because when we saw what happened with the Super Bowl and Richard Sherman here at the end of the NFC Championship going off and getting all this attention, it's another aspect of how we as poker players get portrayed out there with, the guys like Mike Manasow, when they go off, and Phil Hellmuth going off. Is it good for the game? Is it bad for the game? Let me start with you on that, Ben. Do you think that it's good when people do those kind of things, or should everybody just kind of chill it out a little bit and try not to project that image of being bullies or loud or obnoxious?
I do think showmanship in general is very important for the game. I know when I'm on TV or anywhere where I will be publicly viewed, I make an earnest attempt to be friendly, to be personable. I do think some of the antics that happen in the poker world, poker players, this is a pretty stereotype that most people accept. It's that they're very negative. There's a lot of complaining and, bullying, as you said. And I don't think those are very helpful for the game, or, just pleasant to be around in general. So I don't think those are very good. But I do think some degree of, dancing and hoopla when you're on TV and stuff is perfectly acceptable. And
which you did quite a bit of, by the way.
I am quite an attention seeker. I will not.
I would go whore on that, I think.
Oh,
You're allowed to say that.
I didn't know if that was okay to say.
Whatever.
Yes, that was exactly what I was going to say, but I did not think it was okay.
I'm okay on that one. All right, woke Las Vegas up too. Lauren, what do you think?
I think people like Phil and Mike are okay as long as there's a counterbalance of class acts, people like David Baker and stuff that are people that are showing how you can be really sportsmanlike and or sports ladylike. But I also think Phil and Mike are good for the game because they sort of give people the idea that it's okay to be really emotional and off. They're not like it's great.
It's okay to tilt. Just tilt all the time. That's what you're supposed
be
to
like
do.
your idol. Tilt, go crazy. You should totally be upset, and you should go tell your wife and start screaming at everybody that you lost this hand, because that's good for the game. That's good for us. That's good for poker players. But they do take it far. But I actually think it's kind of amusing.
Well, I think one part of it, though, Nate, and the way our society is right now, that when someone acts obnoxiously or crazy,
Beerish.
people pay attention. But when wow, but when everybody's acting normally, it doesn't attract attention in news, and people don't really care about it for the most part. It's a very weird dynamic happening right now, and it's
Humanity.
one that and we're we try to get through that every day as poker players and building ourselves up and building this industry. I mean, do you think that we need it?
There's the line from an advanced poker player to an intermediate poker player is the emotional control. I've always believed that. From one of the first poker books I've ever read is you're a better player if you can control your emotions better, because you're not going to tilt off on the next hand after getting beat by stupid. We've all been beat by stupid. King 3 calling from under the gun or raising under the gun and calling 3 more bets. So it's just the emotional side of the game.
But then on the counter side of that is that's what we remember when we see those moments on TV. I can tell you that doing a lot of social media stuff, when I'm putting up things like Phil Hellmuth blowing up, Mike Manasow blowing up, Sean Chacon blowing up, people watch those clips 4 to 5 times more than if you just put up a normal hand. It's a tricky PR situation.
But just because it's funny. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
watch
They're clowns.
you watch more of the wrecks
And they
in
know
NASCAR
that.
than you do the regular laps.
Yeah.
I do think we're just focusing on the negative. I mean, it's arguable that the top ambassador from poker is Daniel Negreanu, and he does tilt and slam his headphones sometimes in ridiculous fashion, but for the most part, he's very gregarious, very happy.
Yeah, he's
He'll
entertaining.
sing, just do fun stuff, and that's crazy too. But it's not bad. It's not negative. It's very positive. It's a person someone wants to interact with, and also wants to play like
Well, he's
as well.
captivating. So people, as long as the poker player is captivating in any way, but humanity likes. I mean, we're rubberneckers, just naturally. We like to watch that stuff go down.
I love to watch Negreanu break down a hand in the middle of it, where I don't like to watch Phil Hellmuth break himself down in the middle of it.
But does that get the average person out there who's maybe just new to the game involved in the game? Does it emotionally bring them in?
It helps other people tilt easier. They feel like they're supposed to do it. So that's why in my world, in the online version, the chat box fills up with, "Oh my God, you're such a horrible player," and blah, 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 blah. And
There's a lot of smack talk in poker. There doesn't need to be, and I think people should be more gracious. And you definitely, it's better for you if you're gracious to players than rude or mean, unless you're obviously someone who's trying to tilt people specifically. And then I think there's a motivation for that, but it still doesn't make it. I don't know. It's not against the rules, but you just shouldn't be a jerk. I mean, I'm a jerk a lot. I shouldn't be much of a jerk.
But it's fun to tilt people.
It is.
It's really
it's
fun
a
to tilt
boring
people.
game, man. I need these little highlights.
I like how when I try to put somebody on tilt when I'm playing, it's only done for a reason if they're really being a jerk. That's when I pull the knife out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get you now.
I like to tilt the little old lady at the table the best because she gets mad.
Oh, why would you do something
because then
like
other
that?
people at the table attack me.
Yeah, that
because
yep.
I
Yeah.
because I did something
You should come
to
to my
hurt
game.
grandma.
The little old ladies do not like me, especially when I wear shirts like this.
Lauren is wearing a
card flipper shirt.
Sin City Girls.
A Sin City Girls neon green shirt.
Direct to you.
Direct to you. So we just got somebody an extra little plug there.
Yeah, I've been sitting here wondering about this. In 20 minutes, you guarantee it?
Yeah, I don't guarantee it. Somebody does.
Somebody guarantees
Somebody
it?
does.
I thought that was illegal here.
Yep.
Don't look at me. I don't make the rules. I just
It's not
read the
explicit.
T-shirts.
It's just implied.
Oh man. Well, Ben, let me break subject a little bit here, real quick. I know you're going to be hitting the road coming up here soon. What do you have going on?
So I'm going to be going to Los Angeles. I'll probably play a few of the Los Angeles Poker Classic prelims. Then I've never been to Europe, so I'm very excited for this. I'm going to be in Europe for at least 2 months. I'm actually going to Spain, Valencia, and Barcelona to play on the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour.
Oh my God!
And then from there, I'm going to head to apparently.
I can't even help it.
Lauren
have
just
our own
invited
King of the
me
Nerds.
after that to go to Venice with her to play WPT
We're going
Venice.
on a romantic Venice trip with
Wow.
Highland Fox.
Yes,
Very nice.
with another foxy gentleman.
Yep.
And then EPT Vienna, and then possibly San Remo and Monte Carlo after that. So I've everything up till World Series packed, and I'm very excited for it.
Wow, tough life for you. And of course, if you want to follow Ben on Twitter, it's Professor Ben. We can't say Lauren's Twitter, unfortunately,
You can spell it.
but Lauren's going to be doing some traveling here
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah. TITTIE. Chips at Twitter. Oh, whatever. I don't know. Twitter. That handle. I'm so bad at Twitter.
it's okay. Just follow me at Mark Hoke Show. It's on there, guaranteed. Well, we got a minute left. Got to make sure a couple things we want to mention here. Oh, real quick, Nate, you got your show.
On Tilt Radio every Tuesday, 6 p.m.
We have, of course, make sure you guys go to pokeratlas.com. We've got all sorts of great stuff up there. Put up some poker room reviews. We've got tournament schedules, anything you're going to need on there. Go to pokeratlas.com. We also, of course, are looking at the Final Line Comic guys, by the way, have their comic coming out. Issue 2 is hitting the boards. Final number 9 comic.com, and go to pokergives.org because they've got a big tag team tournament coming up. I'm teaming up with a World Series of Poker bracelet winner for that one.
Nice.
So make sure you go to Poker
luck.
Freebird. So make sure you check that out. And I want to thank all three of you guys for coming in on the show today. Awesome time. Really appreciate it. Check us out on RogueWire.com. On Sundays, we'll be off for the Super Bowl. Who you got? Quick.
Denver.
Denver.
And Seattle.
I got Denver.
The Hawks, baby. The Hawks.
The Hawks. All right. Well, thanks for joining us here on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll see you next week with Jeannie Duffy from the World Poker Tour.